Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something really fundamental, something we use every single day. It's like
hmm
this invisible architecture for our thoughts. It shapes arguments, stories, everything. We're talking language, but maybe not how you usually think about it.
hmm
We're diving deep into the absolute foundations of English today, specifically nouns and verbs. We're drawing insights from the English Unlocked, The Power of Words series. Great stuff there.
Yeah, it is. And our mission today really is to cut past the basic definitions you probably learned in school.
Right.
We want to get into the what and the why of how these words actually work, especially nouns and verbs. Think of it as a shortcut to understanding the mechanics, not just memorizing rules.
It's about the engineering behind the word.
Exactly. How they build meaning, how they function.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We want to show you how getting a real handle on nouns and verbs can, well, unlock a deeper level of understanding language, make it interesting, relatable. So, first question. We know words are building blocks. Obvious, right? But beyond just having vocabulary, what makes them so powerful, especially in English? What's a sort of deeper insight?
Well, what's fascinating here is it's not just that they exist, but their precision and their flexibility.
Okay.
Nouns and verbs, specifically, they're not just labels or actions. They're the anchors we use to name things, categorize them, talk about what they do, how they relate.
Mental anchors, I like that.
Well, yeah. And once you grasp that functional level, you see language isn't just for sharing info. It actually shapes how we think, maybe even shapes our reality in a way, which brings up a key question. If nouns and verbs seem so simple, how do they become so crucial for clarity, for impact, even for persuasion?
That's a great point. It's not just the dictionary definition, it's the job description, the contract it has within the sentence.
Precisely, like gears meshing.
Yeah. Not just what a gear is, but how it turns the others.
Exactly. Every word has that job description. Nouns name things. Verbs show action or existence. Understanding that basic split naming versus doing or being, that's step one in really taking apart a sentence.
It's like seeing the hidden structure.
It is the invisible architecture, you could say. How people make choices with words, deliberate choices.
All right, let's tackle nouns first. We know person, place, thing, idea. Simple enough, but let's push past that. If language is, say, a building,
Okay?
nouns aren't just bricks. They're more like the huge steel girders.
Yeah,
They define the structure, hold the weight. What's the power beyond just being names?
that's a great analogy, the girder one. Because, yeah, beyond the basic definition, their real power is in specificity and also how they handle both concrete things and abstract ideas.
Concrete versus abstract.
Right.
Think about it. A concrete noun like table, ocean, fist. You can picture it, almost touch it.
Very tangible.
Yeah. But then you have abstract nouns. Justice, freedom, anger. You can't touch those, but they're hugely important concepts.
And choosing between them matters massively. Saying fist gives you this immediate visceral image. Saying anger, that makes you think more conceptually. A good communicator knows which one to use when to shape how you, the listener, experience the idea.
So it's about impacting the listener's mind directly, visceral feeling versus intellectual concept. That's subtle. What else about nouns often gets missed?
Well, another big one is specificity versus generality.
Okay.
Like saying vehicle versus saying a red Ferrari or a beat-up old pickup truck.
Big difference in the mental picture.
Huge. Vague nouns make things fuzzy. Specific nouns paint vivid pictures, make things clear. Think surgeon versus doctor, or skyscraper versus building. That precision often comes down to picking the right specific noun.
That really elevates the communication, doesn't it? Making it sharper.
Definitely.
Now, what about this thing I hear writers talk about? Nominalization. Does that fit in here? When nouns kind of take over.
Nominalization. Yes, that's when nouns can sometimes be verb killers, or at least they weaken the verbs.
How does that work?
It's when you turn a verb or an adjective into a noun, often ending in things like amication, exsummant, dance. Instead of we decided, you get we made a decision. Or instead of we implemented the plan, you get the implementation of the plan was carried out.
Oh, I see. Sounds more bureaucratic.
It often does. It can drain the energy, make things less direct, and sometimes it hides who's actually doing the action. Now, sometimes it's necessary, but overuse. It can really bog things down.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting then. Choosing a noun isn't just about finding a label, it's strategic. It affects clarity, emotion, energy.
Absolutely. You can make your writing pop or turn it into, well, sludge.
Right. So nouns are the girders, the what. Let's talk verbs. If nouns are structure, verbs must be the engines, right? bringing the energy, the movement.
Perfect analogy. Engines, they define what happens or how things are.
So beyond just action verbs and being verbs, what's the key insight for someone looking deeper?
A huge one is the choice between active voice and passive voice. This trips a lot of people up.
Okay, break that down.
Active voice. The subject does the action. The CEO announced the merger. Direct. Clear. You know who did what.
Makes sense.
Passive voice. The subject receives the action. The merger was announced. See the shift.
Yeah, it's less direct. But is passive always bad? I feel like I hear that a lot.
No, not always. That's a common misconception. Passive voice is useful sometimes.
When?
Maybe you don't know who did the action, or it's not important. Or maybe, strategically, you want to de-emphasize the actor.
Ah, like the classic mistakes were made.
Exactly. Perfect example. It avoids pointing fingers. So knowing when to use which voice, that's a real rhetorical skill. But yeah, relying too much on passive voice can make communication vague, less compelling.
So it's about being intentional with that choice, not just defaulting to passive.
Precisely. Intentionality is key.
Any other power moves with verbs.
Oh, definitely. Think about strong verbs versus weak verbs.
Okay.
Instead of saying, he walked slowly, which uses an adverb to add detail. Yeah. You could use a stronger verb like, he ambled, he strolled, he shuffled, he trudged. Each one paints a slightly different picture, right? More efficiently.
Yeah, much more vivid, packs more punch.
Exactly. Strong verbs are like turbochargers for your sentences. And then you've got those state of being verbs, is, are, was, were. They're essential, obviously. The sky is blue.
Can't really avoid them.
You can't. They establish existence, identity.
Yeah.
But overuse can make writing feel static, kind of dull.
So finding a balance is important.
Yes. Balance them with dynamic action verbs. That keeps things engaging.
You mentioned is connects the subject to a quality or identity. The book is interesting. That doesn't feel like an action, like you said. How do we make sure using is or was doesn't make writing bland?
That's a great point. Is foundational. It states a fact, a condition. But often, if you rely on it too much, it might mean you're missing opportunities for stronger description elsewhere. So instead of just saying the sky was blue and the air was cold, maybe you could try something like the blue sky bit with cold air. See how bit adds that dynamic feel.
Yeah, much more active, more evocative.
Right. So use is when you need it, but always keep an eye out for a more vibrant alternative if it fits. And then there's another distinction. Transitive and intransitive verbs.
Okay, now you're getting technical. Transitive, intransitive.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's useful. A transitive verb needs something to receive the action. A direct object, like kick. You have to kick something, a ball, a door, whatever.
Got it. Needs an object.
Yep. An intransitive verb doesn't need an object. Like sleep. The baby sleeps. You don't sleep a pillow. The action is complete in itself. Understanding this just helps you build sentences correctly. Make sure the verb has what it needs, basically. Avoids awkward phrasing.
Yeah.
It's about the verb's own internal rules.
Okay, so connecting this back, verbs are fundamentally about choices again. Active or passive. Strong or weak. Transitive or intransitive. These choices really power up the sentence.
They absolutely do. They determine the energy, the clarity, the focus. It's the engine room, like you said.
So we've got our girders, the nouns, and our engines, the verbs. Now, how does knowing this stuff, like really deeply, help us tackle complex arguments or write more persuasively beyond just making basic sentences?
Right. This is where it gets really practical, especially for analyzing things. When you understand this core noun-verb relationship, you can strip away all the extra words, the adjectives, adverbs, all the fluff.
Cut through the noise.
Exactly. And find the essential action or state and who or what is involved. Let me give you an example. A complex sentence, maybe like, the unexpectedly sudden and highly contentious decision by the committee to postpone the critical vote ultimately led to widespread public dissatisfaction.
Whoa, okay, that's a mouthful. How do we use our noun-verb X-ray vision on that?
Yeah, X-ray vision. I like it. Okay, strip it down. What's the absolute core? You've got that nominalized verb decision acting as the main noun here.
Ah, okay. Decision.
And the main verb connecting it to the outcome, led.
Decision-led.
Right. At its heart, the sentence is basically saying the decision led to dissatisfaction. Everything else is detail, modification.
Wow, okay. That simplifies it dramatically.
It does. It helps you instantly grasp the main point. And you can also spot those rhetorical tricks, like using decision instead of saying the committee decided, which might feel more direct, maybe more accountable.
That is genuinely useful. It's like you can diagnose a sentence, find the weak spots, the ambiguity, ask who's really doing what here.
Precisely. Or what's the concrete thing we're actually talking about? It makes you a much more active, critical reader and listener. You're not just absorbing, you're analyzing the construction.
The linguistic architect.
That's it. You start seeing how messages are built.
Okay, so girders and engines are crucial. But a building needs more, right? Walls, windows, paint. How do other words like adjectives, adverbs, prepositions build on this foundation? Just briefly.
Right, those are like the finishing touches. The interior design, the paint, the landscaping around our building. Adjectives add detail to nouns, a red car. Adverbs add detail to verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. He drove quickly. Prepositions show relationships. The book on the table.
They add the richness.
Exactly. Detail, nuance, context, style.
Yeah.
But, and this is key, they need that strong noun-verb structure to work effectively. You can't just sprinkle adjectives on a vague noun and hope for the best.
Right. Decorating a shaky foundation doesn't work.
You got it. They refine and enrich the core, meaning that the noun and verb have already established.
Makes total sense. Yeah, this conversation is definitely shifting how I look at sentences already.
Good.
Okay, let's give you, our listener, a challenge for this week. A practical takeaway based on all of this. We're past basic definitions now, so let's get analytical.
Yeah, let's apply it.
This week, find one sentence that feels a bit complex, maybe from an article, an email, even a book you're reading. Your mission: identify the core noun or nouns and the core verbs. Find that essential spine of the sentence.
Okay.
Then take it a step further. Ask yourself, are the main nouns more concrete or abstract? And are the key verbs active or passive?
And here's the crucial part, the why. Don't just label them. Really think. Why did the writer make those specific choices?
The intent behind it.
Yes. What effect does using that noun or that voice have? Does it make it clearer, more powerful, maybe a bit fuzzy or evasive? Doing this turns you from just a reader into that linguistic architect we talked about. You start deconstructing, not just consuming.
Great challenge. Okay, what a fascinating dive today. We've really unpacked the strategic power hidden in plain sight, haven't we?
I think so.
Nouns as these anchors, these girders, verbs as the engines driving meaning, and how they work together is just fundamental for complex communication.
It really is.
So what does this all mean for you listening in?
Well, I think it means that really getting this deeper understanding of nouns and verbs, it changes how you see language, period.
How so?
You start becoming much more aware of the choices people make when they write or speak. Conscious choices, sometimes unconscious ones.
You're right.
And you see how those tiny choices, this noun instead of that one, active voice here, passive there, how they subtly but really powerfully shape how we understand things, how we perceive reality even.
It moves you beyond just the what was said.
Exactly, to the how it was said.
Yeah.
And there's immense power in understanding that how. You see the craft, the science, the art in every sentence.
Absolutely. So keep exploring, keep noticing language with this new lens. Try that deconstruction challenge.
Yeah, definitely give it a shot.
The joy of discovering how language works. It really is endless, isn't it? And understanding these core pieces is just scratching the surface of its architectural secrets.